Hello, short sellers, and welcome to Quad S Trading. My name is Simon, and today I'm going to be doing this first live video of all of our trades from last week. And the reason why I'm going to do like a Monday small cap recap is because we closed all of our trades, or at least most of them, the following day. So any trades that happens on the Friday, I close them Monday at 10:30. So at least that will give us a full recap of the week before including the Friday. So let's have a look at PFSA. Now you'll see that our charts are, there's quite a bit on here once I put all my indicators on. It's just because we have three indicators with three different strategies, and the EXT, it just stands for like an overextended stock. So this is a stock that's gonna like go like parabolic and it's gonna come back down. You want to take it on the backside. We have a DV, which just stands for a double VWAP. So essentially it's a double VWAP retest. So it will go above the VWAP, it will go below the VWAP, back above, and then you take the position on the next close. And that one there is easy to identify on this on the indicator because it has these three circles here. So red just means, hey, and what's above the VWAP. Then when it goes orange, it means like, all right, we're ready. All it's got to do is go above the VWAP again with a few rules. And then this green circle will appear. Once this green circle appears, that means the trade is ready to be taken when the stock closes below the VWAP. Okay, so I know it's a lot to process here, but once you get these indicators on your charts and you start backtesting a little bit, you'll see they're super easy to learn, especially the EXT and the DV, because when an entry does happen, it gives you a label like this. So, and the VW, that's our basic, our original strategy, which is just these little dots above the candles. But this one here did not do, or the stock did not classify as a VW trade. So our VW trades, we want to have dilution. That's the idea behind the VW. So essentially you have buyers from the shorts being squeezed out too early, and you have the Reddit traders buying the stock, these meme stocks, because they're pumping. They just want to get in and make the big bucks early. Most of them are bag holders. And then you have the company pumping the stock. So you have three buyers. We want to be on the back side of it where you have the companies that are now diluting. Instead of pumping, you have the shorts no longer being squeezed, and you have the longs taking profit. So you want to be on the side of the triple sell, not the triple buy. And that's the theory behind the VW, and more or less, well, specifically the VW, because that one has the dilution, while the other two doesn't require dilution because we are taking it on the backside. And these are patterns that I've identified after backtesting hundreds of hours on stocks, and I just realized that, hey, these patterns, they happen very often, and the win rate is easy in the 75 to 80%. So let's have a look. Okay, stock PFSA, it did a DV strategy, so it goes above the VWAP, below the VWAP, back above the VWAP like this, and on the next close below the VWAP gives you this nice little label here. It makes it super easy for you. So 2,800 shares that you're going to short, and the close of this candle is at 178. So that is your entry, and we close the following day at 10:30. Historically, 10:30 has been the best profit target, so we shoot for 10:30 like this because we want the early dump, and then usually it comes back up a little bit. So that's why we cover at the 10:30 mark. So this one here is a nice win of $1,937. Now this is based on a $50,000 account taking a 10% position. Now obviously you can take any trade size you want because our indicators have all the settings for it. So you just literally just put your trade size, your position size, and we have a couple other rules in here, but everything is systematic, and that's how I like to trade because I work while I trade. So I just work, set my alerts. So you just got to come like this, you set your alerts, and then we will go here, for example, DV, and then we will do a custom alert like this, and it will trigger the alert when this label appears. Okay, so that was a nice win of 1,900. Then we have FCUV. This one here actually did two strategies. One was a stop out, and then the other one was a DV for a huge win. So let's just zoom in here to have a look at our loss first. So the stock pumps up, and it did what we call a VW trade. So VW just means that in our Discord, we have two stocks scanners. One is all the stocks. So this one here is for your EXTs and your DVs. And we have one that is very specific. It needs to have dilution, low market cap, that kind of stuff. And that's where the VW we get the stocks from. So essentially a VW2, which means that it is yellow, you take it on the second pump, and you gotta follow a couple rules. But essentially, it comes up, close below the VWAP, it makes a new high. There's some separation between the VWAP. We enter on the close here at 696. However, we did get stopped out over here for a loss of 1,500-ish. And then it triggered a DV. So we entered at 1,015 shares at 739, and we cover the following day at 1030. And this was a huge win of 3,883 for roughly a $2,200 win, $2,300 win. So that was a nice one right here. PRFX. Let's have a look at this one here on the 6th. So the 6th was a huge day for us. We did about 14% account growth on this one day. So let's have a look here, right? So this would have been a VW1 trade because you see this green circle, stock pumps, green circle above the candle, close, that's your entry at 292, and you cover at the end of the day. So our VW, we cover at the end of the day. But even if you look at 1030 over here, still a slightly better profit. You would have got an extra 10 cents. So this was a $787 win. Then we have WBuy. This one here, we see this one very often. And they almost always do a VW1 or a VW2. So this one here was a VW1 because we see the green circle. VW2 would have been a yellow circle. So it comes up like this, comes down, pumps back up. Oh, here are all the conditions are met for a VW trade. You take it when the candle closes at 133, and we cover at the end of the day here at 106. Now there's also other profit targets. Like a common one is right above this current monthly pivot. We have an SMA 200, or even like a smaller stock in dollars like this, a $1 profit or 102 is also really good because that is a common resistance area. Either way, all these three profit targets looked really good on this trade for a nice $1,000 win. Then we had SMX. This one here was a VW1 because you can see this green circle. It literally just pumped straight up. It wanted to touch this current monthly pivot, and it reversed, and it came back down, closed below the VWAP. You enter at 1469, and we cover at 1120 for a nice win of 1,187. And if you were to go 1030 the following day, this would have been another big, you would have got an extra $2 on the trade, right? So this would have been a nice win of $1,187. Now on April the 7th, we have SkyQ. This here did what we call a DV, right? Because you see the red circle, the orange circles means it's setting up, and then the green means go once you see a close below the VWAP, which is right here, and you see this teal label, which will tell you 709 shares. You're going to short at 705 based on your settings in your indicator, and you cover the following day at 1030, and we covered here at 606 for a nice win of $700. Then we have AIXI. This one here was a huge win. So this is where we see stocks that are an EXT. Now down here, you'll see a DV here. It'll show you quantity here and stop loss here. We don't short stocks under $1. We don't usually short them, but for those who did, definitely not here at 30 cents. We don't do it for sure. Nothing under 50 cents. You can take a chance at anything under $1. So you would have entered on this close here, stop out here. So this would have been a minuscule loss. But historically, I only keep track or trade over $1, especially on the on this purple label. So anyways, back to the day here. So you see how it's red, orange, green. That means a DV is setting up. I just need it to close below the VWAP. So none of it closed here, right? So it closed here. So this is where that strategy would have told you to enter. However, we had an EXT, an overextended trade, trigger over here. So you only enter one of them, and it's usually the first one that appears, which would have been this one here. So EXT, enter at 2,400 shares at 208, and you cover the following day at 1030. It's just that easy. This is how systematic these indicators are. It literally tells you when to get in, when to get out. And even if you were taking this trade here and double up on this trade here, this DV trade, close below the VWAP, your entry would have been roughly at what, 153, the label says, and you cover at 126. It's still a 17%, 18% win on this trade here. So this would have been like a huge double win. because this one here from there down to here is 40%, right? So huge, huge, huge win. Then on the 8th, we have Omex. This was a VW1. And you can very easily tell by the green circle. And so in our Discord, like I said, we have 2 different scanners. This would have popped in our VW scanner. It comes up like this. And you, like as it's pumping, you just come here like this. You go VW, create the alert. So it will create the alert when the dot color changes. So right here, boom, you have got an alert here. And you just wait for the candle to close. You enter and you close at the end of the day on a VW trade for a nice win of $2,000. Then we have JTAI. This was a huge win that I missed by accident. I was busy with the kids on this day, and it was a huge trade. Watch, stock gaps up on a split of 1 to 200 split. It triggered a VW1 right here, and it just tanked hard, very quick, a little bit of a rebound, and then it just ended the day 565. And the following day, 10:30, you've gotten a slightly better exit, but huge win that I missed on this one here of $2,687 of $83. This was a 5.7% account growth just on this trade here. Then on April the 9th, we had DKI. This one here was an EXT trade. So let's have a look here on the 9th. Okay, now this one here was a little bit scary because it did a retest of the high of the day, but it ended up tanking quite well. So this is where the alerts come in play. You just, as soon as this pops in your scanner, which would have popped in a scanner probably up in this area right here, you set the alert, and it's very simple. You just go alert, whichever strategy you want, and you just create the alert. And then when this label appears, it will give you the alert, and then you just have to wait for it to close to confirm that it's closing with the label on. You enter position. So you would have entered right here at 82. You would have been, stressing out here because it went 42 or 52% against you, but you let the strategy play out because this has been back tested, and historically the profit is really high. Historically, I can't say anything about the future. I can just talk about the stuff that I backtest and what I'm trading right now. This would have been a nice win of 25%. So this one here is $1,277. And on that day here, we had another beautiful win. This one here is ONCO. And if you look at this trade here, it's a DV, right? You have the red, orange, green, close below the VWAP, teal label. So teal means DV, and it's $2,500 shares at 198, and you cover the following day at 10:30. Right, so this was a nice win. This actually was a win. I'll actually label it right now of 2,000. This was a win of 2,146.25 with the account size and trade size that I'm currently using. And we'll save that like that. And then on the 10th, let's have a quick look here. We have SkyQ again. So this one here, you see the red dot is right here. The orange dot is right here. This is the green dot. The teal label is what gives away the DV trade because it closed below the VWAP on this candle here, right? So the VWAP is, okay. And then what happens is you cover over here at the 10:30, right? And this one here is a win of $493.50, just like so. Okay. Then we have CREG. Let's have a look at this one here on the 10th. This one here is another DV. DVs have been very popular this month. So you have your red circle, your orange, back to your green, which is right here. You just wait for the next close below the VWAP. So it comes up like this. This one here closed below VWAP. Now I know you're gonna tell me this one here did too, but we have some rules where this one here did not qualify, but this one did. And you short 6,985 shares at 71 cents. And this one here, the only reason why I took this one here because it went for that dollar play. You'll see a lot of stocks will just pump, it will hit $1 and tank. So for that reason, I figured, hey, you know what? It did what it wanted to do, touch that dollar, and it tanked. So I entered at that there, and you cover over here at 64 cents the following day at 10:30, and this would have been a win of $1,187.45, like so. And then we had BENF. This one here, I actually missed this one. It happened very quickly. So right, stock pumps up. It was a VW1 green candle, close. That's your entry, and then you close at the end of the day at 402 for a nice win of $846. So that's it for last week. And today, and we've had some really nice wins. Like here's a one that happened yesterday on Monday. Right, DV, red, orange, green, enter on the close, and it just completely tanked. This was a huge win. From here all the way down to roughly right here, 940, 50%. It was a huge win. But anyways, if you like what you see, head over to our Discord. The WAP link is in the description below. Just join there. We do live trading for free every single Monday, and we also chat with all the members that have the free members that have any questions. You can see our trade logs there. If you want to do a live call with me so I can go more into detail as to what we do, we can definitely set that up on an evening where I show you guys everything. And then let's just have a quick look here. I'll try and pull up my my Trade the Pool account, if you give me a second here, just to give you guys an idea of what it's looked like right now. Let me just log in real quick. Give me 2 seconds here. So I am playing around with the $2,500 account. This is the one that I'm doing first. Okay, so if you look at this here, now our win rate on here, unfortunately, it's going to be a lot lower than what it usually is. And that's just because Trade the Pool closes your position at 350 and you have to re-enter. So a lot of times you will actually be down, you re-enter, and then the price tanks in the after hours, you recover, and then the following day it tanks even more, and that's where you make some profits. So this is very unrealistic compared to our spreadsheet, just because of that reason. You get out and you get back in the same day, but it just triggers this as a loss. So I started this here on March 26th. So, under a month, and I'm up $1,000 right now, plus this 111. So this one here is today, SNAL, SNAL. We got to stop out. We got a recovery trade to make it break even. So this is looking really good. That's what I'm talking about. You'll see a lot of our trades here. I know, like 350. So SNAL, I lost 165. I re-entered at 350. And right now we are, I'm up on 111 on it, but I'm going to assume it's going to be a lot higher because it's going to tank tomorrow morning. At least that's the plan. I can't, and then let's have a look at this one here. Then we can see like SQI was nice. And then, right, RMSA, we got stopped out on this one here, but I was able to re-enter a second time. And where is it? Right, this is 76. So we broke even on that one. So a lot of times what happened with our DVs and our XTs, you will be stopped out, but it will trigger another trade. And that's when you re-enter and you get most of your losses back, or at least 75%, 50 to 75% of your loss. So anyways, that's it for today for last week's trading. Any questions, head over to Discord and we'll see you there.